Ranjit, representing On-Talent Technology and Nintex, which will share with us a promising method to establish the digital transformation. Let us give Ranjit a big round of applause to welcome him on stage.
Hello, good morning everyone. It's a beautiful morning, and for somebody who's come from Singapore, this weather is a bliss. I wish I had this weather back home. But anyways, thank you for joining this session. I appreciate your time. My name is Ranjit Ramachandran and I represent the company called Nintex. Nintex is a global leader when it comes to process intelligence and process automation. We are spread across 90 countries, serving roughly about 11,000 customers. And we've been doing this for close to 2 decades now, right? In the course of next 15 minutes, I'm going to give you a glimpse of how Nintex is helping our customers, specifically from the insurance and the banking industry, to process your claims policy seamlessly, right? Thus, by boosting efficiency and compliances. And since we have very limited time, I'm just going to give you a very quick overview. But our partner, OTTL, they have a booth right there at the corner, Kedu. Would really encourage you to stop by, have a chat. I'm more than happy to give you a detailed demo and so on. Right? Now, before I jump on to our product, I would like to focus a bit more on the word process. Because as an automation company, we truly believe that identifying the right process for automation is the whole crux of the success. Right? We all know Edward Deming, and he once said that if you can't describe what you're doing as a process, you probably don't know what you're doing. Right? Now, it may sound a bit derogatory, but if you think about it, if you cannot put down on the paper as to how a process is to be completed, or what are the tasks that needs to be done to complete a process from one stage to another, it might probably not be automated well. Right? And in fact, probably that is why the recent survey from McKinsey & Corporation says that 84% of the companies, they fail in their digital transformation initiative. Right? And that's a very, very interesting stats, that only 16% succeeds in their digital transformation. And what was more interesting for me was the failure was not due to people or technology. The failure was due to selecting the wrong candidate processes for automation. What do I mean by wrong candidate processes for automation? Let's say, you have a process that you run probably once in 6 months or once in a year, and you're going to spend multi-millions to automate it, whereas the ROI that you expect does not really justify the expense that you're doing on that process. Or maybe you have a process which has got a number of interrelated processes which could probably cause the delay, and you're not automating it completely, because of which there is still a lot of lag, because of which the process is not automated well. Right? Now, if we think about it, I don't think the objectives have changed in a very long time. All of us sitting over here, including our company, we are striving to achieve these 3 objectives. That is reducing the operation cost, driving the productivity, and improving the operational excellence and flexibility. Right? We are in constant pressure in achieving this on a daily basis, weekly basis, quarterly and annual basis. Then why do you think that the companies are not succeeding in their digital transformation journey? At this point, I would like to probably tie it to an analogy of climbing a Mount Everest. Right? Now, I'm sure all of us over here will not attempt to climb the Mount Everest with just bow shorts and t-shirts. All of us would probably go to the base camp. We would try to spend some time there. We would try to acclimatize ourselves, moving through edges and wedges, and finally going to the death zone where there is maximum failure. And what we've realized is that failures are due to a number of factors. Factors including lack of resources. Resources could be in terms of people. Resources could be in terms of time. Resources could be in terms of technology for you to automate it efficiently. Lack of capability. Probably you need to integrate well with your on-premises system. or probably you need to integrate well with your core system, which holds a lot of information, and probably the systems that you use for automation does not have the capability to do so. Or probably the lack of alignment or having a clear understanding of where is the summit. What I mean by where is the summit is many a times when we talk to our customers, what we realize is that there is no clear end goal as to how do you define the success of a digital transformation journey. Right? We need to have a clear definition that this is what we are trying to achieve, this is what we are trying to do. These are the processes that we are going to start with, and this is the plan in which we are going to scale. And this is exactly where Nintex brings value to our customers. Because in our whole product of offerings, we have tools and products which can help you to ensure that you would not be finding the lack of resources, because it is easy to adapt. It has got the capability to integrate and communicate with any sort of line of business systems, be it on cloud, be it on premises. And of course, we have the process management tool that can help you align your goals and ensure that you are walking right towards the summit. Right? As a product, what is the key USP that we bring to the table? It is easy to build and easy to extend. And as a platform, we have all of these offerings. We help you to capture your processes. We help you to mine your processes. We help you to identify what are the processes that you're following in the department. Once you identify the processes, we help you to map and document them. What I mean by documentation is we do a lot more than just mere mapping of the processes. We help you to collaborate with the stakeholders. We help you to understand the feedback from the stakeholders. We help you to have a clear vision of what were the changes, why was it done, and so forth. And most importantly, we are one of those very few products out there in the market which can tie your risk to a process. Now, especially from the industry that you're coming in, I'm sure adhering to the compliances, managing your risk is the paramount. And what we help our customers to do is to ensure that all the risks are mitigated well, and to ensure that all the necessary actions are taken, because there are these out-of-the-box reports that can be generated quite easily. Right? Now, once you've identified your processes, we move on to the next stage, which is orchestrating the processes. And what do I mean by orchestrating the processes? Quite easily using drag and drop feature. You will see the action very soon in the video that I'll be playing. Just by dragging and dropping the components, you will be able to build your automation. It's as good as creating a PowerPoint slide. You have a bunch of components on the left. All you have to do is just drag and drop the components and configure them. In terms of integration, we have out-of-the-box connectors to a whole bunch of applications, and we can even integrate with your core solutions using Service Broker. Once you've integrated it, we have a document generation tool. In case if you need to automatically generate a contract, in case if you need to automatically generate a claim policy, you could have different templates that are already set up, and based on the data that is set on the form, we could automatically generate these documents. And once the documents are generated, you can also send it for an electronic signature. In terms of electronic signature, we have a native offering for electronic signature, and we also have connectors to almost all the major digital signatures out there in the market. Once you've orchestrated the processes, then we move on to the engagement point of view. How do you engage and how do you make it intuitive and easy for anyone to understand? For that, we have the app model, using which you can create easy to use app applications. We have the forms and the chatbots, using which you will be able to use a communicational feature wherein the users can ask questions and they can get their answers. Right? So very quickly, that's the process capture. We use an AI model to identify and mine your processes. It's a simple bot that gets installed on your agent's machine. As you do your steps to complete your processes, it captures these steps. It documents all the steps for you. It tells you that these are the things that are being done. The screenshots are already captured. You will be able to pick and choose what makes sense or what does not. Once you capture the processes, that's the process management. depending on whether you are mapping and documenting the processes for somebody from process background, that is who understands the BPM and model, or for somebody who is on the field who has no idea what does a triangle or an hexagon mean, you could build something very intuitive, very easy for anyone to understand how to read a process. It creates swim lanes, it tells you how much money you're spending on the process, it tells you what is the time that you have to spend in every single process, it tells you how much resources you're putting into these processes. Let's say tomorrow, if you're deprecating a product and you're moving into a different product and you would like to know what are the processes that will be affected, you have out-of-the-box reports that can tell you that these are the processes that will be affected and these are the places where you will have to go and fix them. Once you map the process, that's the workflow. Again, it's all graphical user interface. You have a whole bunch of options on the left. You drag and drop, you define your rules. You can move from one department to another, back and forth as many times as you want. A good part, we have an option to collaborate with your external user as well. So let's say, for example, you have your customer who is sending you a request and the details are not correct. Maybe the documents that they sent were not clear enough. You have an option to send back an email and say that the documents were not readable. Will you be able to submit the documents again? Once you define the workflow, that's how the apps or the forms are built. Now we have multiple AI components to help you build a form. So you could simply upload an image and on one button click, it converts that into a form. It is an AI built form converter. So if you have a text box like gender, it will automatically create a drop down for you with the obvious options in it. If you have a text box like a date, it will automatically create a date control for you. If you need something more easier, we have something called as Start with AI, which is more of just type into the text box what do you need, and using generative AI, we automatically build a form for you. We understand that, especially in your business, you may want to have multilingual forms. So we have translation features. The same form can be rendered in English, Cantonese, Chinese, Japanese, any language of your choice. And the beauty is, customer need not even select the language. Based on the preferred language that is set in your browser, it will automatically render the form in that language. Once the app is built, you can, especially from the insurance and the banking industry, we understand that you have a lot of legacy applications that cannot be integrated quite easily. So we have a native RPA option. And our RPA is also rated amongst the leaders from the majority of the researchers out there in the market, like the Forrester, Gartner, and so on. And our RPA bot is also built on the advanced neural network of computer vision. What that means is you don't have to code anything. All you have to do is just record your screen, do the steps. RPA bot will automatically capture the steps. You have an option to go and change and configure it the way you need, and then automatically it will just integrate with your line of business systems. And then the most important feature that resonates very well with the customers like yourself is the document generation. You can inject any sort of templates and you will be able to automatically generate a Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or a PDF file. Right? What I'm going to do next is I'm just going to play a short video of 4 minutes that will give you a clear perspective of what we offer, how it is built, and how does the end product look like. We've kept it really simple using the out-of-the-box templates, but just to let you know, you can put any sort of branding, any sort of customizations as you need. For more details, please do feel free to come to our booth in K02 and then we'll be able to give you a detailed demo. There you go.
You'll see how you can easily create an app for vendor form submission and tracking and connect that app to Nintex workflows that automate the broader onboarding process. We'll start on the main page that gives organizations a single view of approval tasks that need their attention, the breakdown of vendors in the system by status, and a short list of vendors that have been recently approved. Building this page was easy.
So that's a design canvas. As I said, it's as good as building a PowerPoint slide. You have the components on the left, drag, drop, configure it, and that's about
simple to
it.
use, a
Those are the connectors using which you connect your line of businesses next.
To Nintex workflows pulls available task actions for us automatically. We can select which
Just select what you need to show and then that will start appearing automatically.
apps designer screen. Data used by tables is stored natively within the Nintex platform and can be accessed directly from the apps designer. Here, you can see the vendor list data displayed in Nintex.
One
apps.
most important thing, you don't need to store data in our system. We can read from your system and we can push back into your system as well.
Whether a CRM, an ERP, or a DMS, any application that runs your business. Nintex Apps is able to easily surface all the data you need in a single pane application for easy consumption. Thanks to the connection to Nintex Workflow, we can also create apps action flows that will allow the end user to interact with their workflow tasks without ever leaving the app experience. To sum up, apps are integrated with workflows, such that app pages can call workflows directly, share and use workflow data, and display and interact with workflow tasks. Let's start the onboarding process for a new vendor in our system. To do this, I simply click the Create Vendor button. This will take me into a Nintex workflow form, again created with no coding. Once I fill out all the required information, I can submit the form. Submitting the form initiates the automated approvals process. Let's take a closer look at the workflow itself. To get there, we can log in directly from the app's interface using SSL. Just click on Workflows and you see the list of available workflows to select from. Here, you can see the no-code drag-and-drop workflow builder with the available actions on the left and the configuration field on the right. This multi-level approval workflow goes through 3 different departments. These task assignments are handled dynamically based on business rules that are defined in the workflow. Now that the review process is kicked off and you've gone through a couple of steps already, I'd better attend to my to-do list. In my vendor onboarding, I can
Each and every component that you see on the screen can be configured. Each and every action you see on the screen can be built the way you need, including whether it is a pop-up, a sliding panel, or just a mere page that you see there.
my task list a little bit. I want to check on the status of other requests. I can navigate to the list of vendors and quickly tell at a glance where each vendor is in the review and approval process. I can also edit vendor information. With the included extensions framework, I can connect to nearly any application to present any data that is needed to the end user. In this case, I'm able to view files, contacts, and even audit history all in one easy-to-navigate interface. If I need to make any edits or view any additional details, I can do that from this page as well. I can view active tasks, reject, approve, or edit any of the fields of that task, and even view an approval history complete with who has performed what action and when.
So that was a very, very quick glimpse of what we can do in our platform. And a good part, you have options for both cloud as well as on-premises. With that, I would like to open the floor for questions. Anyone?
Let's have one quick 30 seconds, question. To get back on time.
There's one, somebody.
I'm sorry, I have got a short question. If I understand correctly, it's kind of RPA. There's a lot of RPA solutions like you are part of AA. What's the difference of your solution in this break name? I would like to know that. Thank you.
Sure. So one of the major advantage that we have as the RPA solution, it's built on our own patented technology, which is on advanced neural network of computer vision. Now how that helps is, some of the names that you took, they are not able to record the actions which you take within an emulator or a remote desktop machine, especially when we work with banks or some of our large insurance customers that we work with. That is one of the core requirements. So that's where we excel. The second most important thing is ours is far more less technical, so you don't really write any code to build those boards. It's quite easily doable just by dragging and dropping the components. And if you need, we do have an option to put in a Java, a .NET, Python, VB script, or any sort of script that you want to customize your RPA board. And third most important point, I believe we are the cheapest amongst all the names that you just took.
Thank you, Ranjit.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day ahead.